Yeah, let's talk about user experience because it's something that I don't think enough people are talking about. You know, Vitalik famously put out the trilemma of what? Scalability, security, and decentralization, something that was potentially impossible to do. I've had a few guests on that believe they've already solved it, like the AVAX guys and the Tron guys, but user experience was never really brought up many years ago. And yet, when you look at a Solana, it would be hard to argue that the reason they're not so successful is because they have a great user experience. Now, they've been accused of not being centralized, decentralized, and we can talk about that. But you can't argue their UX is so slick that the user doesn't care in the immediate term about the central decentralization, which is interesting because maybe we didn't see this coming a couple of years ago when a lot of the old school purists and the builders like you would have said, look, this is a crucial part of what we're doing here. Talk to me about this user experience. Is it the fourth part of what should be the trilemma? How important is it? And do you think the blockchain space really fully understands that it maybe should not be a number one priority?
The idea, I believe, is that first with the trilemma, it almost seems like this was a definition of a problem that seemed to be the case at a particular time. It was not a fundamental technical limitation, but rather a limitation given that knowledge that Vitalik had at that particular time. But I do believe that we've definitely solved the trilemma in the sense that if you have a different kind of technology, the trilemma doesn't apply in the sense that Vitalik defined it at that point. And I do believe that we're in a different space, right? It's like if you have a hammer and a nail, the solution space is very narrow and limited. You can define any kind of problem as a function of the tools that you have. If you have fundamentally different tools, fundamentally different and better technology, at that point, the solution space is fundamentally different, right? And so Elrond sort of starts with what Vitalik and the Ethereum community wanted to build since 2015 and 16. And it almost seems like state charting and so forth has been always 3 years in the future. Now, this is what we've built. This is what we came up with. It was considered nearly impossible at the point where we presented the idea, but we moved forward and delivered the product. Now, moving to the user experience, I believe that this by far will be the most fundamental thing that will decide who wins and what the adoption rate will be, bar none. Why? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how advanced your technology is if only 5 people have to can understand and relate to it. And if they have to learn rocket science to do so, it may be cool, right? But at the end of the day, you only got 5 people. Now, we have 8 billion people in the world. The question is, what can we do to simplify things to such a degree that anyone, wherever they may be, can, with the simplest effort, tap into this, explore this new space, and then discover where their opportunity lies. So during the next years, I do believe that there will be nothing more valuable and more interesting to the discussions that we'll see beyond the technology part than user experience. And I'm extremely excited and happy that we've discovered this insight a lot faster than the discussion started and before it becoming sort of mainstream in the crypto space.